Hello and welcome to the Trade Ideas Market Recap for Thursday, January the 15th. My name is Barry Anderson. I'm the moderator of the room. This is the address to get into the room, and you can log in with your Facebook or your Twitter account. Never a dull moment on the market. What happened today? Well, we've had oil, we've had bios, we've had this, we've had that. Today, or last night, before the market opened, the Swiss decided to not peg or cap their franc versus the euro at 120, and they were just going to let the franc go wherever it wanted to go. And of course, I guess it fell, and consequently, the market just looked at this, and here's where the SPY closed yesterday. Open a little bit down, but then boom, this is overnight basically, and this is huge downturn. Now it recovered somewhat, and for the rest of the day, it's been rather choppy. And I believe I'm no economist, but I guess the theory is the Swiss were thinking that their franc was too expensive, thereby hindering exports and things like that. So we'll have to see what happens. It's one of the reasons why I guess I'm glad to be predominantly a day trader. I don't have to worry about things like that happening overnight, which I have no control over. And I wake up in the morning and go, "Oh, okay, well, whatever. We'll have to find something to trade." So that's what we did. So let's get back to a 5-minute chart and let's talk about, well, before I do that, I want to talk about BlackBerry. And after the, whoops, BBRY. After the market, or after I did my video yesterday, and I'm sure most of you realize that BlackBerry, there was a huge rumor yesterday about Samsung potentially acquiring BlackBerry. So, my video was done right around here. This is 3 o'clock, and then all of a sudden, boom! This is when the rumor came out, and I know a lot of people got in here. Some people got in here. The some people, meaning me, got in here at 1165. Now, the rumor was that there was going to be a potential buyout between, I think it was, I'm going to say 1350 to 1575, something like that. Now, when I saw that, and the stock went up to 1323, and then it was basically holding $13. Typically, when this is, and this was reported by Reuters, so I mean, this wasn't, well, wasn't in um, the National Enquirer or anything, but so it seemed to have some credibility. But typically, what happens is that both companies probably come out, Samsung and BlackBerry, eventually and say there's no value to this rumor. So when it started to come down, I decided to get out of the trade right here at 1276, right around this area. It just didn't seem to want to hold 13, and I thought, even if the rumor was correct, and the buyout was going to be at say 1325 or 1350, I wasn't that far from it. So I took the trade out here. And sure enough, BlackBerry comes out and refutes the rumor, Samsung later on. And so here we are. I would say this is that, Reuters again said they had pretty credible sources on this. So I would continue to watch this because, where there's smoke, there's fire. So that was yesterday's excitement after I did the video. Now, before I talk about a couple of the trades or the three, how many trades? One, two, three, four trades that I did. One of the things that I do in the pre-market is to try to identify 3 or 4 stocks that I think have some potential or a chance to reverse. Now these are not really bounce plays as such, but these are stocks. I do a scan in the morning. These are and I'm finding stocks that are down a huge amount in terms of dollars. Not it doesn't really matter. I'm not as concerned about what the percentage is. I don't even care how many shares are traded. I mean, if it's one share, of course, but a lot of times, it's only a couple thousand shares, but the stocks are down huge. So I try to identify those, and then I basically say, these are ones to watch all day because usually at some point they will reverse. So let's take a look at a couple of them. Pod. Pod, and let me get to, now it's a little bit, I'm going to have to, there we go, maybe make this a little bit more legible. And now Pod is still down $5.53. But at one point, look at this. I mean, it was all the way down to 27, so another $5 or so. Um, almost $6. So at one point it was down almost $12. And so this is one that I identified, and here's where it closed yesterday, and boom. And I think it was earnings, something like that. I almost don't really care why a stock is down. Generally, though, it's got to be obviously some bad news, and generally it'll be earnings. But the trick is to try to find an area where it could bounce and or come back. Now here, obviously, you could say, "Wow, why don't you just take it here at 28.86?" But first of all, the spread was really tough. The difference between the bid and the ask was, I don't know, I think 40 cents at some point, or at some points. So it was really tough for me just to commit and say, "Yeah, sure, I'll go ahead and get it," and then it could have just kept going down. Again, you never know exactly when anything is going to turn, and it may never turn. But you can see here that all of a sudden we're getting tighter 5-minute candles. So it's looking at least like there's a bit of a consolidation taking place. Now this is hard to see, so I'm going to more or less have to read it because I actually went into this trade twice. The first time I got into it, it was at 30.28, so it'll be right there. And I ended up selling half at 30.53 right there, and the other half as it came back down at 30.33. So that was the first time I did this trade. And again, I mean, this was really it was nerve-wracking to hold because I mean it was still whipping up and down, and again the spread was bad. But I did continue to watch it, and you can see that it was consolidating not too badly right in this area. And again, with the candles starting to tighten, gives you a little more confidence that if you do get into something, maybe it's not going to whip down too much. What you want to see is a whip up, of course. And so again, it's hard to see, but I got into the second trade at 30. Sorry, let me get my mouse going here at 30.55, which is right here. And uh, it's again, I wish maybe I can just expand this a little bit more. Maybe it's be a little easier. I don't know if I've marked this up correctly, and you can see it is still run on me. I'm out, but basically, I got out the first half of the second trade at 31.55. So, I was in down here at 30.50 and I was out here at 31.55 and then at 31.50. It's poorly marked here, but that's this should have been 31.50 instead of 31.49. So over $1 on both halves. And then you can see that it just, well, actually, this came down, and this was my dog walking time. You can see right here is noon, and so I missed this. I was out here walking the dog, and I put a stop in just under $31, and it didn't quite make it. There's 31 right there, and it popped back up. So I got very fortunate in that, and so easily, so good money made on basically watching in the pre-market for these stocks that have the potential to reverse. And so I encourage you, if you're coming into the room at all during the day, wake up, come in a little bit earlier. I'm here at about 7:30 in the morning, and that's when Trade Ideas starts getting their quotes. And this is what I'm looking for, something to look for all day long. And there's an argument to be made that I should have taken the trade again when it popped over 32, but I didn't do it. But just a nice one to watch all day. So the same thing with, excuse me, with Best Buy. And I'm going to have to back out of this a little bit. There, show you where I got into it. So Best Buy, same sort of thing. It had been beat up. It's still down $5, all right. But at one point it was down like 33, so it was off maybe another dollar and a half. So this was another stock that had been beaten up. And so again, watched it up here, come down, chop it around this area. This was a tough one because we were waiting for a 34 break and finally got it. And now, admittedly, I did not get as much out of this as I should have, could have, and all that. I was in the trade right here at 34.20, and I exited at 34.55. It was just, I think this one freaked me out a little bit. This down candle, but it I don't know if it was a fat finger or what because it went down and up immediately. So I didn't have a an automatic stop in place. Otherwise, I would have been stopped out. But again, I guess what I'm trying to say though is that there were two trades or two stocks that I mentioned. Watch them all day long in the pre-market. Well, I identify them in the pre-market. Now the other one was EHTH, and here still it's down $11 on a $9 stock, so it is really really killed. And this was tricky. I did not get into I did not trade this one at all. I guess here's where it came down. Here's the open at 9:30. So it's already down. It's chopping around this area, and I suppose right here maybe an argument could be made that everything looks great in retrospect. But I think I was probably busy with some other things at this point. In fact, I know I was, and so I kind of missed this one. But it didn't have the same continuation as the other two. These because this has given it all back, and yeah, and it's just kind of chopped around. With Best Buy and PODD, they've kind of continued in an upward trend, so it made it a little bit easier to trade. And the other one was WBAI. And WBAI, now I traded this one because yesterday it did, let me just move over to yesterday. I think it hit a high of 20. Here we go. So here's where it closed. 4 o'clock is on Tuesday. So here's where it opened, and then look at this. It had a huge candle and another one hit a high of 2031 before it just collapsed. I mean, this is just a monumental collapse. But because of all that, and it's been really active, I decided that I wanted to watch it. And so I was on a thumbnail chart for me, and I saw it come up. This is I'm sorry. Here is the open, and so saw it come up and down, chopped around a little bit, and then it started to move up. And now again, this was another one, huge spread between bid and the ask. So it was kind of tough to commit to it. But I ended up taking the trade right here at 1860 and kind of held on. I mean, this is choppy right here, and then got rewarded because then when this candle basically got it really going, it looked like okay, now it could have the same type of candles as it had yesterday, and it certainly did because it had this one, and then the next one. I mean, the bottom here is 1886, and it got all the way up to 1968. Tremendous move. I was able to get out half at 1949, and then I took out the other half on this bar. It should be right over there. I took out the other half right here at 1921 as it was just going up and down. And you can see that it is now kind of settled back here. I'll probably watch it again tomorrow because there's something going on. I mean, these there is a reason for this. These volume bars don't come out of nowhere. Somebody wanted the stock badly right there and force it up. So let's take a look at the daily on this because this might be, yeah, so you can see here, there's $20 right there. So if it cleared that, then you've got $21. So it's not bad, but it is stepping up. There are step up shelf resistance as I call them. You got some resistance here, some resistance here, some resistance here. Much nicer, of course, obviously, if it were straight down, and so maybe this was the first resistance area at $30. But nonetheless, this is obviously in play in terms of. I mean, look what it's done in the last. Here's today's candle. So the last 4 days, it's come off this low of around $15, and it has just surged up. So definitely, I'm going to keep watching it. And I think, oh no, there was one other one. Yeah, this one was okay. I mentioned that. Let me just get the NVGN. Um, the daily chart. So let me get back to the 5 minute chart here. And I see I didn't mark this up. Okay, well, I was in here. I wish I was right here at 312. So right here is where I took the trade. Wanted to see this. This is another little bio, and wanted to see this come up over the excuse me, over the whole number. I couldn't chase this. This to me was just chase. And again, what I'm seeing, starting to see, is that these now, okay, let me back up. This one at least held the pre-market, but there was a time maybe 2, 3 weeks ago where we'd have a little bio of the day, and it would just keep running for the day. And it wouldn't do this. It would just keep running. And I'm not seeing this anymore. In fact, a lot of times what I'm seeing is, here again is the pre-market, and it would just drop before the market even opened, and then just do nothing for the rest of the day. At least this one persisted, and that's what got me interested in it. And I thought, well, okay, maybe this is the one. But again, I got in at 312 and I exited at 333 up here, and the other half at 320. And you can see it just collapsed after that. So, there's not a lot of confidence right now in these little bios. The only other one I want to talk about too is PP, PPC. Because something kind of interesting is starting to get a pattern here now. PPC, now this was traded well by people. This was a strong one. This was not down for the day. It's still up. But I know a lot of people took it in this area and rode it for quite a while. But remember, I was talking about the VWAP yesterday, and stocks bouncing off it. I can't remember what the one was yesterday, but look at this. This line here is the VWAP, and you see here 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 times, and even this one came close, this one came close, but you can see how it was kind of bouncing off and hugging the VWAP. And now I didn't take the trade. I should have, because look at this volume here right on this candle, but this is the one that really should have got me interested. Once it broke through and it looked like, okay, now it is definitely bouncing off here. Now, the VWAP is 34.28. So right here is what, 34.46, or over here is 34.44. So if you had taken it in this area right here and put your stop at the VWAP, it's not too bad. And it would have, even if you'd taken it here and got out here, it'd be 30, 40 cents. If you'd held on and then watch it go through the whole number again, it would have been a great little trade. But I'm going to start watching stocks way more now, especially this sort of a pattern that where you see a stock is constantly hitting into the VWAP and then bouncing off it. I wish I could remember the one from yesterday, but anyway. That's it. Another exciting day, and again, I encourage you, if you're coming into the room at all during the day, try to get in here a little earlier. We identify the stocks that I think have potentials for reversals during the day. So let me just bring back the cover, and here's how to get in, and I hope to see you in the trading room tomorrow.